Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Naven Gaming, where today we are continuing our adventure through Space Marines 2. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit in the testing phase still, and it's also late at night when I'm recording this. It was kind of a pain in the ass to get this to work. I was trying to fiddle with the settings a little bit in my OBS. I thought, maybe I could try seeing if I can get the quality, because I noticed that the frame rate in the actual video recording is a little weird. I also think that some of the resolution quality is a little strange, but, oh well. I might be able to, maybe if I try using the other graphics card, but the problem with the other graphics card is that it's locked at 30 frames, and that's not great. I could probably push it to do more. I don't even, actually, what was the problem with that graphics card? I don't know, it's been a while since I tried to fiddle with it. Alright, well anyways, you get the point. So, here we are, back to another Space Marines episode. So, fuck, I don't even remember the last time where we left off. I'm not gonna get into too much of an intro. Let's just go ahead and get right to it, shall we? I was never really good at these fucking intros anyways. So, let me go ahead and just unmute my actual volume. Alright. I will be playing with the gamepad this time. Yeah, sorry if I make any weird sort of motions with my face. It seems to... My character sometimes my model gets into a weird sort of like, almost like a, I won't say frowny face, but the lips start to sag a little bit, so I just do that to reset it. Seems to be effective. Oh, it was effective. Whatever. Yeah. Well, it's kind of effective. It was effective. Oh well. No matter. And honestly, it doesn't bother me. I'll turn that back on since I'm using a controller. Because you really need the aim assist when you play this game. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's, aim assist is almost imperative. I mean, it just is... I mean, I guess it's not that bad, but the aiming is just, with a stick is not great. It's not like mouse and keyboard where you could get precise aiming. Man, oh man. So the last time we left off, we were going through it. One of the things that...
War gear selection seems incomplete.
This armory is comprehensive, but available options are those recommended for the current mission.
What's this? Auto bolter, bolt rifle.
Galileo will suffice.
I like the Oculus, but the auto bolter has more ammo. It's better rate of fire, but it's not nearly that good with aim. Anyways, but yeah. So, one of the things that I also hear when it comes to the discourse around this game is that Gadriel and Chiron their relationship with Titus is a little too, it's a little too inconsistent. And I kind of get that. I actually agree with some of the criticisms. There's a really great moment in this game's story.
When he and the first company joined us, we would have laid waste to this scourge in a single night. I should have liked to see him tear through their ranks in a blaze of glory. Truly, a warrior without equal.
Anyways, so like I was trying to say, I've been trying to say for a bit now, is that, so Gadriel and Chiron, they have a weird relationship with Titus, and, it's obvious, because I've already explained in my previous video why Titus might have a quandary trying to relate to Chiron and Gadriel, but Gadriel and Chiron have a weird arc with Titus. Like, Titus's arc is just, trying to, go back to, trusting people again, and essentially. And Gadriel and Chiron have an arc with Titus as well, but their arc is a little bit more perplexing because they're simultaneously trying to be their own character, but at the same time, this is very much Titus's story. So Titus has this. So that being said, their arcs are a bit inconsistent here and there. And I think that makes perfect sense. Like Gadriel, for example, has the biggest egregious issues with that type of dilemma. We'll get this one out of the way first.
You leave on a mission of vital importance. The battlefield below leaves no room for the slightest error of judgment.
I am of clear mind and purpose.
May the directives of our beloved Primarch guide your every action. I shall follow your progress closely.
I will reflect on your words, Chaplain. But for now, duty calls.
Huh. Here's the operations mode. So their main issue, they don't trust Titus, because over the course of the story, it becomes apparent that Titus has a weird connection with warp stuff. Basically chaos nonsense. And I wouldn't say he has a connection to it so much as he has like a bit of a weird affinity to not getting screwed over by anything that has to do with warp magic. So in the 40K universe, that's the context, and the context of that is simply that if you're not affected by the warp, then you must already be affected in some way, right? Because the only people who aren't influenced by the warp are people who are already influenced. I mean, on paper that makes sense, but at the same time, that seems kind of fairly obvious. I think the real thing is like how are they so good at hiding it? I don't know. I guess some people in the context of this world that probably get influenced without even realizing it. Actually, I think they did mention that in the first game, as a matter of fact. Now that I really stopped and think about it. God, if I could talk. So, I think that with their arcs having to bounce off of Titus, it's kind of hard to develop them as characters. I mean, that's clear. God, can I just get to the point already? So, Gadriel and Chiron, they have this awkward relationship with Titus. So that's kind of out of contrivance because they're trying to build Titus up as a character, but also build them up as characters as well. And the biggest hurdle between the two groups, the two parties here, is that Titus's inability to trust people leads to his relationship with Gadriel and Chiron being very tumultuous, which makes sense, right? But how they resolve that is ridiculous, because more often than not, Gadriel will fly off the handle over some minute stupid shit, and most of the time, sometimes it's understandable, but most of the time, it's like, it feels a little unwarranted. It just feels a little bit unwarranted.
Archmagos, for the last time, we must get you off-world!
Assessment equals inordinate ignorance.
We'll be overrun in minutes!
By the Omnissiah, cease interruptions.
Major,
Akran finally sends me what I asked for.
Archmagos, it is imperative you evacuate immediately.
Detroit will not leave without the data. Relocate to my facility. I will instruct Servervox.
Make ready to leave. This will not take long. Major, I have a second unit working on a theoretical that should buy you some time.
My lord! I've lost 3 squads trying to reach that lab. We think something's out there.
Noted.
The Emperor protects.
Yeah, sometimes the tracking gets weird. I wonder if it's because there's something in front of my face. I don't know. I'm wearing a headset to record my own audio.
Equal to far side of swarm. Reiterate. Time factor critical.
We will Vox when we have an update.
See that you do.
We will never get this planet's stench out of our armor.
Compared to your usual aura, it is an improvement, brother.
Deeply amusing.
God. At least the banter's on point. But yeah, so I find that the best way to improve it, me specifically, if I were to be the writer of this story, actually that's probably the kind of a weird way to look at it. It's kind of that's a bit of an uncomfortable way to look at it, but you know, like if I were to make any sort of like improvements myself, the way I would look at it is that I would try to add more context to build up both every character. I would build up Chiron and Gadriel a little bit more. Like Chiron already has a bit of a backstory, which kind of works for the for the kind of story they're trying to tell with this game. And it also makes sense later down the line why he's the more so reasonable of the two.
Canadians are running out of time.
But
How close are you to the Prometheum
the
facility?
problem with both Chiron and Gadriel is that they just don't have enough. They don't have nearly enough background. They don't have nearly enough like character development. Like the only thing I can really tell you about Chiron is that he was born on Calth. And Calth was sacked by, apparently, the Word Bearers. So there's that. And Gadriel, I couldn't even begin to tell you what fucking Gadriel's story is for this game. Because Gadriel consistently doesn't really talk about himself. The most he really does is that he complains
This will serve
at
me
Titus consistently, and it's because, you know, like, he's always asking questions, which makes sense. I mean, like, he's also a sergeant, but he also thinks a tad more strategically, and that becomes even more so, you know, he's kind of like Titus, both, you know, like, in mindset, which kind of probably speaks to the merit of how he became a sergeant. But what's really interesting is that he's kind of like opposite in personality from Titus, because while he may think creatively, you know, like where he might have an innovative mind when it comes to strategic thinking and on the fly, just basic, again, just on the fly thinking. He doesn't have Titus's sort of personality where,
We are being hunted.
he kind of just, like has a... Oh boy.
Septimus. Damn it.
This is the work of a lictor.
Sergeant Gadriel to Resilient. 2 of our brothers have fallen in battle. Send an apothecary.
Received. We shall honor them, Brother Sergeant.
You know what? I'm just gonna save my thought for later. I'm just gonna save my thought for later. Just get to playing the game. I clearly just don't have my thoughts in order, so I'll just focus on just playing the game for now. It is kind of late at night, so I'm probably not thinking clearly, if at all. I mean, I already have the handicap of just not being able to articulate myself, so... either Gadriel or Chiron.
magazine. Vermin exploded. Restocking. Reloading weapon.
That opening offers a shortcut.
Then we shall take it.
You know, actually, I kind of think of it. I kind of noticed it when I was watching my first recording on this game, but I don't know. It's not 30 frames, is it?
A boon that thrums with promise.
I mean, it shouldn't.
Reload.
This beast dares challenge us.
Stay clear of its whip.
It will not live long enough to use it. This place reeks of death. They never saw the attack coming.
This friendless inefficiency is unacceptable. Reiterate. Research data at risk.
How dare he address you thus?
They never learn. Munitions secured.
Just a regular old bolt rifle. Oh boy.
Nothing of frag grenade.
Target destroyed.
It's funny how this is slowly becoming my comfort game. Feels fun to play. The story's actually not bad. It's a little, in fact, it's a little bit misunderstood, but I really do. It really is just a really fun game.
Resupplying.
I've also played this game on the with a friend of mine, and we were going through the story not that long ago. And one of the funny things is that the experience at the end game boss fight, because there is an end game boss fight for fuck's sake, that's great, because the first game's ending was like you know, we'll just have QTEs, you know, because that came out at a time where QTEs were kind of like all the rage. You know, just like how turret sections were all the rage back in the day. So, oh, and the color brown. Actually, that game had all of the hallmarks, didn't it? Anyway, so the first game had the problem of basically being the very much a action
Very
game
good.
period piece of that era of games. But when it comes to this game, you know, they've not only you know, like evolved the gameplay and have polished it to a fine sheen. They also gave you boss fights, just like,
Snipers.
you know, some of them are like recycled enemies, just bigger, and they have more variety of attacks to hit you with, but you know, like, but it's also they give you an ending game boss fight where actually I think most of it is probably just recycled enemies. But anyways, the ending game boss fight gives you a genuinely interesting set piece where you have to fight a sorcerer on top of a demon, and it's actually really cool, really epic, and you actually have to fight it. You don't press buttons, you don't mash buttons to win, you literally fight the thing with guns, albeit, but you do fight with guns and a mixture of, you know, like a sword here and there. You know, there is gameplay to it. That already makes him miles better, in my opinion, than fucking the first game. The way I just kicked him off the bridge is kind of nice. That felt kind of nice. That felt kind of good.
Munitions secured.
No, I haven't picked one up yet. Got one now.
Cover my reload.
Whoa, frame drop. That was weird. You know, I get those every once in a while. But it's not usually for any specific reason. I don't know. That's what I think it is. I just have one eye always blinking. Oh, then again, maybe it's because when I look away from it, it only tracks the one eye. That's a little weird. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it.
Through this bunker.
Gather by the entrance.
Small arms fire. It sounds close.
Ah, Acadians.
Guardsmen.
Assist them.
For the Emperor!
Yeah. Alright. What's next?
Another one dead.
I think the Acadians are in my way. Oh boy. Oh, this is a really bad time to do that.
Thank you, brother.
What did... Who did what? What happened? I don't remember anyone doing anything to help me in that scenario. Like that? Wait, there's two of them?
One less rebel.
Two of them, wow. Nope. Oh, no. For a second there, I thought I was going to die. I still might. No. Let me get it. Let me get it. Yes.
Gotcha.
I guess look at him. I need the extra armor anyways. Oh, he's down too.
Wrapping it.
Acadians did themselves proud. They died honorably.
Come. Our own duty is not yet done.
That Righteous Fury comes in clutch every now and again. I don't remember. There's a class of the operations that has that. I think if someone did, it was the Bulwark, but I don't remember.
A moment, brothers. It is here.
By what evidence? Something is off.
Watch your backs. This is it. Weapons ready.
Come and taste death, vermin.
Sorry if it looks a little weird. I'm just kind of looking at my OBS. The frames look so weird. Yeah, I've noticed that in my first video. It's just kind of bothering me. Hang on, let me check something real quick. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I've adjusted my model as well, so... But I messed with the OBS settings. It just looks kind of janky in the recording, I guess. It'll probably... I mean, I don't remember that being a problem when I was looking at when I was examining the video, my first video on this. So maybe I can actually just tweak it later. And plus, maybe I can try that capture card again. Who knows? I'm probably just seeing problems where there are none because it's late, you know? Oh boy. There's that lictor. Fighting this thing normally isn't bad. This boss fight in particular, for some reason, it's unnecessarily hard. Like, the first time you fight this thing, it's like, it feels like an actual challenge. Because it's everywhere. This map is designed for the lictor itself. And for some reason, he's also just beefier. He's just tankier, too.
Swapping magazines.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Ugh.
Watch your flanks.
All right.
Changing magazine.
Thank you for that.
Cover my reload.
Oh shit. Shit.
Recovering. Special tactics ready.
Xenos tricks.
Oh, I really gotta stop doing that.
Need to reload.
Oh, I really gotta stop doing that.
Reloading. Resupplying.
Snuck up on me. Exterminatus and executions are amazing. They're great.
Restocking. Major
I mean, just about
Sarkana,
every
you
execution's
were
great, but
correct.
it always feels
There was a
satisfying
lictor
to
out
kill
here.
something
I suspect
after
you have
you
already
spend
dealt
a
with
good bit putting lead into it.
It will not trouble you again.
Very good, my lord.
Now we move on. Munitions secured.
One thing I will say about the lore is that I know a guy who's also into the 40k lore, and I would, and this is the same guy that I ran through the game with just a moment, just a bit ago, and he literally, like, I was talking to him about the lore and some of the things that I know,
Lictor is a capable foe.
and
A welcome challenge. Were the lieutenant not with us, I fear we would have joined Cordanus and Septimus. Perhaps they faced more than one.
No. Lictors hunt alone.
yep, so that guarantees you'll only ever fight one of those in every encounter, which is nice. But yeah, so he told me something that I did not know, and that was kind of interesting. But at the same time, it was delivered to me in a way to where I started getting my persecution complex going, because it's like, oh, like the Emperor seems like like before he was in the throne and everything, prior to the heresy, like he seemed like a pretty chill, seemed like a pretty cool guy. And he's just like, who told you that? It's just like,
The facility is in ruin.
yeah,
Let
buddy.
us hope Nozick's research
He just
remains
seems like a
intact.
cool guy from the stuff that I've heard.
We have arrived.
Like it wasn't, like I don't know much about the guy. I mean, I only know what I was told about him through the channels that I've seen. And again, I've only delved and especially when it comes to say Bricky's videos, for example, like he pretty much summarizes the 40k lore in a way to where it's just enough to where you kind of have a basic knowledge of what's going on, right? I don't know about the in-depth shit. And I would like to go into some in-depth shit, but when I actually try to listen to the kind of the lore around that, it was usually by channels that they explain to you the stories of 40k. They tell you the stories of 40k, but they don't. They tell you the stories of 40k, but as well as the characters themselves. But it's kind of delivered in a way to where it feels like an audiobook, and it's read by people who are kind of monotone, and it's kind of, well, I don't know about monotone. It's basically delivered like you're listening to almost like a documentary, and it's kind of not what it's not what my brain is looking for. I suppose that's asking a lot, though, but I don't know. It just wasn't working right for me. Essentially, it just wasn't working for me. I'm distracted. The model just is looking kind of funny. But yeah.
The entrance is inoperative.
No, it turns out the Emperor, though, is kind of an asshole. But, you know, like, I already kind of knew that because, you know, like, he spent most of his time just kind of like from what I understand from the stuff that I have seen and I have heard about him, you know, like, he's just always in his chambers, like, studying, trying to figure out some shit. You know, like, when he was trying to get the whole, the webway thing going, like the... I'm assuming is what he was spending most of his time with. Like, when he was trying to get that working out, you know, like, he was spending most of his time doing that instead of, you know, helping out with the war effort, and he was just forcing the Primarchs to do it. So I guess that's,
And they can eat clean through ceramite.
Given half a chance.
So, yeah, it's, another day's late.
Lots of rippers. I hear them all around.
Hurry, Gun. May the Emperor guide thy shots.
How many rounds do you have?
It is only enough if the Emperor wills it.
Am I lagging or something? I feel like I'm moving in a weird way. Anyways, not even not the model, but like the character themselves. Yeah, looks like I'm kind of moving in a weird way. Look at that. It looks like I'm kind of like the legs are going one way, but it feels like my actual direction's going the other. I don't know. That just seems a little funny. So yeah, Emperor's kind of a dick. And then he told me something interesting about the Emperor, which is the fact that the Emperor at one point told Gilliman that he is kind of, when he woke him up, essentially, from what he told me, is that he was kind of an asshole, and he was just like, I need you to get up. You're not my favorite son. And also, I miss Horus. He was a much better son. He was better than you. I kind of wish you just stayed asleep or dead. And I'm just like, really? Really? That's kind of fucked up. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anyone in this universe, but still.
Disappointingly slow progress for Anastasis.
Spare me the insults, Magos.
Statement error. Insults. I engage in pure
What if I
analysis.
move my...
Locate primary transmitter. Coordinates inbound.
I have had more pleasant
messing with the model
conversations with orcs.
It just kind of bothers me a little bit. I can't fix it. I should just stop looking at it, actually. But I kind of have it in pure view just so that way, you know, I can mess with it in case it malfunctions. But, you know, you get the point.
We have arrived at Nozik's facility. Run distraction efforts as long as you can.
I will fight in the thick of these Xenos as long as we need.
I will hold you to that.
But yeah, one of the main reasons also why I wanted to come back to YouTube was...
He deserved better.
Where's the apothecary? Somebody call the apothecary.
Will serve us well against Rippers.
Gadriel to resilient. Brother Decius has fallen.
Received. Location marked for apothecary. Our brother's sacrifice will be remembered.
There's a few times where we'll encounter dead space marines and no one will actually call the apothecary for it.
Rippers.
Kind of funny.
Here they come.
Ranged weapons only.
Keep them back with the Pyre Blaster while we thin their numbers.
This section kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Just it kind of sucks. I can't imagine doing this on a harder difficulty than in veteran because it is actually ass.
Restocking.
But yeah. I find that the lore for 40k to be very interesting. I just would like to, because my friend of mine showed me a story of Angron's origins, and I thought, wow, this is actually really well done, really well presented.
That door looks like our exit. Clear a path through those vermin.
You know, like it tells you his life story, how he started out, and it's actually kind of cool. You know, like I like the story. And then I'm like, I wonder if there's more videos like this. I have yet to actually check to see if there are more videos like it. But yeah, basically every video that goes really in depth about the actual lore of the 40k universe is it's just a tad much. It's just a bit boring. Not to say that the people who tell the 40k stories are boring. But rather, you know, like, some people like the documentary feel of how it's delivered. I, for one, don't necessarily like the documentary feel. It reads like an autobiography, and I just don't care for it.
System controls and your current location.
I kind of like the presentation with the voice acting and everything with the Angron video that I saw. You know, it actually added some flavor to it, but, you know, like, it's, I'm not usually all that big on the autobiography type of delivery.
Power up sequence initiation.
Sacred clearance flow. Faults detected near divine matrices. Exercising.
Xenos built. Do not get too close.
I think the funniest thing, though, is that he's not even that big on the 40k stuff either. That friend of mine, by the way. He's not that big on the 40k stuff either. But he knows things about 40k that I don't. And he also happens to know things that, you know, like, again, it makes me kind of, like, wonder about, like, do I actually know anything about 40k?
Awakening submarine network. Restoration unit.
Power is restored. Proceed.
Move to the door.
These vermin dare obstruct us. We shall punish their boldness.
Maintain distance.
I am so unsure what is going to come at me and how.
Another one.
The Rippers, they retreat.
Disoriented by the synaptic shock.
I think most people could understand why some people would find it a bit difficult. I'm sure even fans of this franchise find it a bit difficult to keep track of everything because it's like there's so much shit to 40k. I mean, the Horus Heresy alone covers 50 books, supposedly. That's fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, my eyes are doing it again. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why my eyes doing that. I wasn't able to shoot it. Was that the game not letting me to shoot that, or what? The other thing that I don't like about the Pirate Blaster, well, I didn't talk about this actually, but yeah, the one thing that I hate about this particular gun is that it's a flamer.
Resupplying.
That's fun. But the flamer doesn't have a wide sort of like a, you know, like it doesn't have a sort of like a widespread when you fire it. Like it's pinpoint. It's very much like whatever you're aiming at is what's going to get damaged, and that's something that I've always hated about any type of fire weapon.
Busy with something.
They gather biomass,
Humans.
dissolved and collected later.
By feeding tubes lowered from orbit. Vile. The sooner we exterminate these horrors, the better.
Because, I mean, like, if they're clearly in the flames or anywhere near it, it should still do damage, right? That's how I've always felt about flamers. That's how I always, you know, feel whenever they actually do that. You know, they actually bother to make, like, the stream itself the damage instead of, like, the reticule. It really does. It just kind of takes you out of it a bit. Because, you know, like, that's just not how flames work. At least it feels like that shouldn't be how flames work. Holy shit. The fucking firing squad over here.
Munitions secured. Frag grenade out!
Of course, that's the objective. So yeah, I do want to get into this franchise because I do think it's actually fairly interesting. Like, it's fascinating. It's a dark universe, the same way that The Witcher is a dark universe, and I really like the world and lore of The Witcher. But I can see why the ceiling for entry is a little high. Because 40K is clearly a game that requires, you know, like at least a good number of time investment.
Reloading.
And that might be a big turnoff for quite a lot of people. It might be a bit of a turnoff for quite a lot of people. Do I need to lift that? I might need to lift that. Maybe it's just the lighting. I just I don't have perfect lighting. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's my computer monitor being in the way. Oh, maybe it was. Because now it's actually doing a little better. Or maybe it's just because I was moving my face again. I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore.
Restocking.
But yeah, all I can say, all I'm telling you, is that I think that this universe is very fascinating, and I would love to, nothing more than delve into it. But there's just so much crap to it, and plus it's based off of a tabletop game that I never played, and honestly I probably never will because I'm not exactly a very sociable person. I don't know if you know.
Foul Xenos, invaded in wave upon wave of claws and mandibles. Sacred machines drip oil and wire, cogs and gears split. How wasteful to lay waste all
Sorry about that. That looked a little weird.
knowledge. What if Nozik's work is lost in a broken circuitry? I salvage what I can, but the mindless hordes, knowing nothing, are ravenously unsatiated.
Yes.
This war has done too much damage to our sacred machines. Too much knowledge has been lost.
Ain't that the truth? That's another thing that I was told too, is that a lot of the technology is has been lost to time as a result of the heresy.
Reloading.
I'm just gonna be dumping this gun later. Never actually tried doing some of those sections with just bullets. Well, bolts, but yeah.
Reloading weapon.
Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. That seems like a terrible idea.
Grabbing equipment. Need to reload. Chiron, what is our heading?
We need to cross this room.
I will say, though, that there is a lot of 40K games. I was not expecting that. Like, I knew this franchise was popular to a niche audience, but I did not realize that there was so much fucking video game content for fucking 40K. It's kind of insane just how much game content there is. Just on Steam alone, it's like I pull up a Warhammer. It's a what's the tags? 42 games. Warhammer, the brand, 60. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's a lot of games. Is it actually tracking my microphone, actually? I'm sorry that you're picking that up. I just was honored to test. I was kind of wanting to test it.
There, a pyre blaster.
Make good use of it.
More scurrying vermin.
Yeah, it's so weird how that works. Anyways, back
A
to this.
fine gift from the forge.
I think I'm going to try with the bolter this time. I'm sorry if that's picking that up. I'm just adjusting it.
Special tactics ready. Changing magazine.
Stay back, brother.
Oh, that actually hurt.
Loading fresh magazine.
Target destroyed. Resupplying.
What happened there? I thought I was grabbing somebody.
Munitions secured. Need to reload.
Hey, they're gone now. Oh, they're back again. I don't know why they do that, actually. fucking things again. Yeah, this mission's ass.
Changing magazine. Clearing the way.
I think this part of the mission really is ass.
Reloading weapon.
This is Decimus. Wish you could see these dead bastards. By the Primarch, we have set a mighty pyre this day. Tyranid biosigns down 90% and falling. Swarm annihilation confirmed.
Excellent work. Move to extract. Better.
You know, I heard that you could. There's a lot of things that people do with 40K in terms of like content-wise. Like there's a Blade Runner story in 40K. There's also a weird espionage story, like an assassination story in 40K. And then I go and look at the video game stuff, and Darktide looks like it's absolutely nothing like Space Marines, which is kind of funny. In fact, it looks more like Vermintide. It is actually made by the same people, according to I think what I read on the Steam on the Steam page.
Need to reload.
But yeah, there's so many different games for this franchise. It's kind of funny how that works. I mean, a lot of them are strategy-based, it looks like, but there's also different types of games, and there's different types of stories written in this universe, and I'm like, does that mean that 40K is just one of those franchises that just is flexible in the way it could be adapted into things? Because that's kind of dope if it is, because you know, like there's only a few franchises that managed to do that, managed to pull that off, and one of those franchises is a Star Wars. Star Wars is very adaptable.
Changing magazine.
At least it can be. But not very many people have been doing that as of recent, because most people are too focused either trying to make the best possible, like, Jedi Star Wars story, you know, possible, or they're trying to make the best smuggler, rapscallion level of storytelling thing, or they're, you know, just basically, you know, the tried and true methods that people already are used to. You know, they're not actually trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not trying to...
With jump packs. It has been some time since I brought death from above.
The day is not yet done, brother.
They're not trying to change anything. They're not even trying to make different games with, like, Star Wars Code of Paints. Like, you guys remember when the Jedi Knight series used to be Dark Forces? And Kyle Katarn was originally just, you know, a guy who just ran around as a, you know, who just flew around as a mercenary. You know, shooting the shit out of Imperial forces. That was a thing. And it was basically a Doom clone.
Archmagos, we have reached the transmitter.
Analysis. Efficiency level below expectations.
Here we go.
Transmitter at 0 state of charge. Move to generators. I couldn't make the repairs myself. Violent work system is in your honor.
Will that interfere with operation?
Negative. And keep close proximity to the terminal while I work. Connectivity ready.
On one hand, I want the Pyroblaster, but on the other hand, I don't want the Pyroblaster. Like, I need the Pyroblaster for the insects, but at the same time, I need the heavy bolter for you know, when I get Neahethal or whatever those things are, you know, among other things.
This will serve me well.
You know, I could have swore there was a two-handed version of these two. I don't know why we can't have those.
Reloading. Resupplying.
Coming to you.
What the hell just happened?
Our enemies will not be so lucky.
On the track.
Okay. I guess we need the flamer. At least that's what it's telling me. That's what it seems like it's telling me, is that I need the flamer.
Archmagos, we have reached the transmitter.
Analysis. Efficiency level below expectations.
Here we go.
Transmitter at 0 state of charge. Move to generators. I couldn't make the repairs myself. Violent work system is in your honor.
Okay. Sorry about that. Alright. Man, I'm having more technical difficulties tonight than I thought I would.
Negative. And keep close proximity to the terminal while I work. Connectivity range limited.
Archmagos, begin your work.
Establishing connection.
Tyranids incoming.
Yeah, here come the Tyranids, alright. Oh, actually, can I get that?
They never learn. Munitions secured.
Yes.
Generator equal to full state
They are regathering themselves.
Accurate objective to subsequent generator.
This game is infinitely easier when you have friends to play it with. I will say that, as evidenced by the fact that I played this with a friend of mine earlier, and oh my god. Okay. Thanks, game.
A moment, brothers.
So yeah, as evidenced by the fact that I played this with a friend of mine not that long ago, and a lot of the sections that would be hard normally were actually kind of easy.
Restocking.
Can you not? It's crazy.
Archmagos, proceed.
Connecting to systems. Emphasize. Maintain Soooo translation.
In other words, do not move.
All right.
Another one dead.
I'm just taking a permanent smile. That's kind of weird. All right. I'll take it. Whatever. Ow. Yeah, this is exactly what I was worried about.
Generators activated.
Fucking let me go! Holy crap. It's gonna be another problem that I'm gonna have, is getting juggled. I never liked getting juggled.
Restocking. Recovering. A moment, brothers.
Is there a gun? I would like a gun. I would like a gun. Oh. Ugh. I know what some people are gonna ask. It's like, oh, well, why are you recording in the middle of the night? Well, the answer to that is that I'm not really tired. I'm never actually tired. I don't get tired until my eyes start to do the usual thing where it's like, oh, well, you're getting exhausted and you're slowly starting to close your eyes and pass out, so clearly you're tired. I know there are other forms of tiredness, but, you know, like, that's just the one that I usually default to when it comes to being tired. And to be fair, I'd rather just be up all the time anyways, because, you know, it means I have more me time to do shit that I want to do.
Analysis transmission active. Data incoming.
At last. Care to tell us about your research, Archmagos?
Denied. Classified. Leave such matters to me. Report. Transmission complete. Your assistance is no longer required.
Major Sarkana, please escort Nozick to the Thunderhawk and get him off world.
Yes, my lord. With pleasure.
I shall be glad to be rid of these trivial duties.
As I will be glad to cease the flapping of this repugnant flesh voice.
Time to go.
This elevator goes to the rooftop.
Yeah, this Archmagos is kind of an asshole. I would love to see a... Ah, here we go.
Archmagus, confirm receipt of data stream.
This is Lirio. Transmission received. Nozick is on the Thunderhawk. Standing by.
Get him out of here.
Yes, sir.
Sarkana, what's your status?
We've lost a lot of men, a lot of heavy rounds, but we're still in the fight.
We're coming to you now.
Nozick! Were they hit?
Lirio, do you read me? Major, did you see what happened?
No idea. We saw no impact.
That is territory claimed by the swarms.
We need to reach him, fast.
There was an armoring chamber below. Jump packs. Sir! The guardsmen.
With respect, my lord, we're Cadians. We can take care of ourselves.
I mean, at least he asked, right? At least he asked. Is he not tracking me?
The Tyranids will
Or is he
swarm
having
the
trouble
crash
tracking
site.
me?
If Nozick is still alive, his time is limited.
Our brothers aboard that Thunderhawk will make quick work of the Tyranids. I hope they survived. Do not admit such a thought. Too many of us have fallen today.
We are at war. Death waits for all of us.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, now my model's just being weird. I don't know what it's doing anymore. Okay, you know. My lip sync's a little off. It's just one thing after another, I swear. Okay. Sorry about that again. So I got it working this time, and also I found an option to where I can actually sync the blinking, so it looks less weird. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. It's gonna be the last time I do that.
Redeploying!
If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. Ah. Oh, I gotta wait a second for this. I've never actually used the jump pack in multiplayer in operations, but I'm tempted to actually. But the problem with operations is that you have to play with a friend, or you have to play with randoms.
They will not get past.
I have nothing against randoms. Actually, you know what? I don't even need to justify that. Playing with random people is it's trying. Anyone who's ever played a multiplayer game can attest to this. It's trying. Yeah, all the time. It's very trying.
Repositioning!
One of the reasons why I try to keep the voice chat function just off. I don't want to hear people talking. Because normally when people are talking, they have nothing better to say or nice to say. So I usually just,
Jump back engaged!
I usually try not to engage in voice chat.
Xenos vermin!
Take full advantage of the jump packs.
Come down upon them like the lightning bolts.
Oh yeah, this is the mission, this is the first mission you get to try the jetpack. I probably should have guessed that by the fact that I had a tutorial as soon as I started. Buy a stand for my PC too, because at least then my stand will keep it from getting warm too. Did not realize that a lot of the cooling was underneath the laptop instead of behind it, like mine does.
Munitions secured. Engaging thrusters. Vermin exterminated.
So, there is one thing that I can also talk about when it comes to this game. Is that because there's different varieties of combat, it has you know, like there's different because it has different ways of playing the game. You know, like it does lend itself to having a bit more variety than your typical action fest or even your, your typical third-person shooter.
Gotcha.
The only thing that I would like to see done or improved with the gameplay is just you don't have to add more gimmicky shit or variety to well, I mean, having more variety would be nice, but if you're not gonna add more variety to the gameplay, you know, like at least make some of the classes more customizable. Like the operations, for example, has let's say if you wanted to go in with like a heavy swinging build, but the only class who has access to, say, the hammer is the jump jet person. I believe he's the assault person. So what do you do about that? How do you remedy the fact that you want to use a hammer, but the only person who has access to the hammer is someone who's kind of squishy, or is just someone who you can't reasonably just be with, you know, running around willy-nilly, just slamming a hammer against a bunch of things and just tanking damage? Well, the answer to that would just be simple. Turn the bulwark into a hybrid class. You can either spec it to be like, you could do, it could be a marauder, a tank, a type of berserker, or you can make it to where like it's or you can just make it into what it actually already is. You know, like I think that, or you can just make it its own separate class, add a new class, but that probably take more effort.
Vile. The crash site is on the other side of that.
Because if you don't want to actually deal with, you know, using a jetpack and also be a tad squishier than, you know, like, despite the fact that you have a slow hitting weapon that hits quite a lot, does a lot of damage, but, you know, again, its strikes are pretty slow, and in a game like this, you know, being slow is kind of very inconvenient. Then I can see that the way you could easily remedy that situation would be to just like you know, you make a class or you make a subclass to where you can just spec into being just a berserking tank, juggernaut, so to speak. Bulldoze through enemies.
Repositioning.
In fact, the bulwark already has it set up to where like you can't even use a primary. So why not just go all the way with it? Why not go all the way and then get rid of a primary and then substitute it with a hammer or melee weapons? That seems like a pretty cool idea, right?
We must break its shield.
Ow.
We are wasting time. Get those charges in position.
I will as soon as I deal with you. Of course, there's fucking two of them.
Jump pack engaged. Stabilizing vitals.
Brothers, we have no time. Let us blow this damn wall.
Changing magazine.
Titus has a point, but I also recognize that having that thing around makes this a bit more of a chore than it needs to be. That really shouldn't hit me.
We are wasting time.
How did that... I'm not gonna question it. Funny sometimes.
to get up.
There we go.
That mistake almost cost you too.
Tell me about it.
Your death.
You know, if you guys were more useful, we wouldn't have this problem. And that's also one thing that I don't like about this game either. It's also one of its bigger criticisms is that the AI is useless. You know, I will admit that it does have its uses in the sense that, you know, like at least they're not so aggressive that they're fucking killing everything. But you know, like it's it would be nice that, you know, like if you have a full set of armor, like it actually tracks how much armor you have. The AI will simply execute things if it determines that you already have a decent number of armor.
Melter charge.
Another thing that would also be a nice little additive would be like, you know, just make them, you know, very aggressive.
They never learn.
Reload! Jump pack engaged!
Super effective at shooting things and killing things.
Reloading. Munitions secured. Explosives ready.
Everything is shooting at me. I mean, there's barely any cover, except for the angle. But even then, that's not really any cover. The AI always finds a way.
Another one dead.
Loading fresh magazine.
Melter charge set.
Alright. That's done and over with. Now we move on.
Charge armed.
Charge is in position.
Clear the blast area.
Are they running out of enemies to throw at me? No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Chaos. Sweep the area.
I smell heresy.
Brother! I'm fine. It must be the Rubicon surgery. When? 2 days.
Find it! Hurry!
we should go.
I said I'm fine.
Nozick is dead. Mission is over.
Whoever did this is long gone.
My lord, we cannot take him. We have orders.
Have your orders.
The orders are Akarans. We cannot allow you on board.
Our lieutenant is wounded. Unless you intend to strike me, brother, we are getting on that ship.
Oh boy. That's that warp stone thing. The fucking warp MacGuffin, the magic MacGuffin from the first game. It has made its return. Loading, loading, loading. Oh, there we go.
The captain is withholding something.
Akaran will not deceive us, Gadriel.
Then where did Dimitri and Titus serve previously? And why is he back in battle so soon after such grievous surgery?
Sergeant Ventiad spoke of a Death Watch team that deployed a virus bomb on Kadaku. Perhaps our lieutenant was one of them. I am far more concerned with what we just saw at that crash site.
Lieutenant.
Brother, are you recovered?
I am.
The apothecary should run a diagnostic.
I do not have the need nor the time for such a process.
Magos Gallio also expressed his concern. Consider his counsel, if not ours.
If there is any risk of recurrence, it puts the whole squad in jeopardy.
It can wait. I must speak with Captain Akaran.
As you command.
Serve him. With our bodies, our blood, and our searing wrath. Our very life force is a gift from him, and we shall use it to serve him only. For he is the life of mankind.
The death of an Archmagos will not be regarded favorably by the machine cult.
The fault is theirs. Their own reports suggested engine failure. Anyway, damn the Archmagos.
Brother, it is a relief to see you on your feet.
Heard you took a turn for the worse.
Such reports were exaggerated.
I am glad to hear it.
Your efforts in delaying the swarm were admirable.
It was a sight to behold, brother.
I must report to Akaran. Excuse me.
The Emperor protects.
My lord, it has been 2 days now since your armor was inspected.
Tyranids on Kadaku left us no room for respite.
We are now headed towards Avarax. Let me perform the necessary cleansing rites to locate your armor's machine spirit.
Very well. My thanks.
Yeah, that whole machine spirit thing is a part of the occult mechanicus.
It was not clear to you.
It may have been only a handful of fanatics.
A handful of cultists could not bring down a Thunderhawk.
He is right. The arch-enemy is here.
They chose to reveal their presence. There must have been a reason they wanted Nozick dead.
Yeah, the occult mechanicus is basically a bunch of like a bunch of Martians they live on Mars, and they've grown up worshipping machines and the machine god, and so everything has a machine spirit in it if it's technology. So yeah, that's the cult Mechanicus for you. They also have a. They're also called by a different thing. They're also called Adeptus Mechanicus. They're, you know, like they have different names, but and their god is the Omnisaya. But yeah, it's kind of the context for that situation. But yeah, you can already starting to see that there's a bit of an adversarial, a contentiousness to the relationship now, and it all stemming from the fucking warp. And they were already kind of contentious in the beginning because they were already kind of questioning his leadership, just like, oh yeah, you know, like it might be safe, it might be faster, it might be safer to do this, and it's just like, no, we're sticking with the strategy, we're doing this. No, we're not doing that because it'd be easier or faster to, or more efficient to do it this way. You know, like they're already starting to butt heads with Titus. And, you know, that's kind of, and you know what's interesting is that despite the fact that Gadriel also, you know, is very much about the Codex, you know, like, he will show later down the line that he's just as capable of being as on the fly with his thinking as Titus is. Because, you know, like, he does actually contribute a lot to the war effort in later parts, and it's usually after they have their little defining moment.
What happened down there?
Nozick was assassinated.
The Adeptus Mechanicus report said engine failure.
That's not what I saw.
Sergeant.
Sorry, that was a little weird. That was a little weird.
Chaos.
You know, I'll turn it this way. Maybe it'll capture that.
No mistaking it, sir.
Clear the bridge! Nozick was head of a highly classified project.
Aurora. What is it?
A weapon.
And the minions of Chaos learned of its existence.
With Nozick dead, there's only one man capable of continuing the work. Morius Luz, Nozick's apprentice. He is currently missing. His last known location was a Mechanicus facility on Avarax, one that is now overrun with Tyranids.
That's so.
This will get you into the cogitator within the facility. You can access Luz's tracker from there. We are on course to Avarax now. I want you ready the second we enter orbit.
Sir. What was on the ship with Nozick?
What concern is it of yours?
The Mechanicus seemed eager to retrieve it, and yet the enemy left it untouched.
Whatever it is, without Luz, it's useless to us.
Lieutenant, the journey to Avarax will take time. Enough for a brief diagnostic.
Very well, if it will put you at ease.
Magus Gallio will be in the armory.
So everything building up to the defining moment of
4 degrees starboard. On course.
Of basically Titus and Co's relationship is, you know, their building and, you know, their development is actually pretty good. It's actually really good. Like, just if you were to observe the scene just by itself, it's actually really great. When you get the full context, I mean, like, even with just the build-up, you know, like, that we do get, you know, like, it feels good, and it's really good. Like, everything about it was just delivered well, everything about it was handled well. The only thing that I have a problem with is that they don't flesh out Chiron and Gadriel nearly enough for that to really matter. And the way I look at it, because, you know, like, as I stated earlier in this video, the one way to fix Gadriel's issue with Titus is simple. Just do what they did with Chiron. They give him a backstory. They just give him they just add a little touch for Gadriel, You know, they just give him like a, oh, well, he's a sergeant. He's, before he ended up meeting Titus, he was leading his own unit. And during an operation, Gadriel was, was fighting off some, I can't say Tyranids because he wasn't fighting Tyranids before this. He was fending off some, I guess, Chaos Legion forces or something. Maybe he was fighting some other type of foes. I know there's like different enemies in the Warhammer universe. I know there's like some type of like infectious disease that turns people into zombies, among other things. But yeah, or maybe he was fighting other legions. Maybe they were fighting other Space Marines, literally just traitors, legions. Anyways, point being, you know, like he was out there, he was fighting, but during the fight, you know, like one of Gadriel's units, one of the people that he trusted, you know, in fact, this would actually go full circle with Titus' story. You know, like, he had a close brother in his group, but his brother, you know, like, his battle brother, ended up getting tempted over to Chaos and became corrupted. And as a result, his battle brother got, you know, risked the entire mission and ended up getting everyone in the unit killed except for Gadriel. And in order to complete the mission, Gadriel had to kill his former friend and brother. And that's something that has haunted him for a good chunk of his life. And it doesn't have to be early on, but it could have happened sometime a little recent. It could be something that's still a little bit, that stings still a little bit. You know, the scar hasn't healed quite yet, so yeah, he's just, that would explain why Gadriel has such a bit of a, is so quick to want to get into persecution mode when it comes to Titus and his weird sort of issues with warp shit. And I think that's totally valid. But they never did that. Gadriel's problem is that he just kind of he just turns into Leandros.
How did you know about Aurora?
I saw the name in a mission report, most of which was redacted.
I would have preferred to stay on Kadaku and hunt down the heretics that dishonored our brothers.
We will find them on Avarax.
Unless Luz is already dead.
Whatever those tech priests are working on is still here, in this system. I expect the greatest battle is yet to come.
He just turns into Leandros for no good reason. And that's the part that bothers me. And it's the part that bothers most people.
Titus, I heard that you collapsed upon encountering the tainted wreckage. I am concerned.
A mere side effect of the surgery. I am fully recovered.
Sergeant Gadriel, I trust that you will be close at hand should your brother suffer any further episodes.
Yes, Brother Chaplain.
If the arch-enemy is indeed present, any weakness could grow into a cancer of the soul. Bind yourself to the pages of the Codex, and it will shield you from the glare of heresy.
My faith is without compromise. I will not waver.
So, and also, let's preface another thing.
Sam.
People give Leandra shit in the first game for ratting out Titus to the Inquisition. And I'm inclined to agree with them. You know, like, I mean, even I have stated before that Leandros is kind of a dickhead for that. But at the same time, you know, like, there is a side to this to where it's absolutely valid. It makes sense, and makes sense for Leandros to do what he did. There is definitely a side to that does make some sense. Like Leandros, yes, he did basically, like, he was kind of new. You know, he was he hasn't, you know, like, by the time he was working with Titus on that Grai operation, you know, like, he was still fairly, he was the youngest Space Marine amongst Titus, and I don't remember who the other guy's name was, but anyways, he, you know, like, he had, he was not very versed on these types of, on how Titus tends to operate, among other things. All right. And he's, you know, he was very much about the Codex. And the problem with Leandros is that, you know, like, because he's young, you know, he goes by what he's told, you know, like, he's by the books, he does things, you know, like, as was prescribed by what the Codex had taught him, what his teachers had taught him, what, you know, basically what was expected of him, he did. He did to the letter, you know? Meanwhile, Titus just does whatever the hell is convenient. You know, like, he thinks on the fly. You know, he gets his hands dirty. He does whatever is necessary to get the mission done. Leandros doesn't exactly understand how to compartmentalize that. And on top of that, you know, like, there's the fact that, you know, Titus has this weird thing where he can engage with warp stuff and not suffer any side effects from that.
22 hours until further notice. Additional recaf rations will be issued.
I heard of your incident on Kadaku. I am greatly concerned.
It was brief. Likely a result of the surgery.
You suffered catastrophic damage to a number of primary organs at the hand of that Carnifex. While in that state, you underwent radical surgery. Your body was ripped open from head to foot. If some error was made and remains undetected, it could cost you your life.
Brother, we cannot afford another episode like that.
The apothecaries may not have time for a thorough diagnostic, but they've given me their sanction to do so. Now settle in. This will take time. Titus, your biometrics are below peak, but well within the tolerances for combat. I can find no explanation for the symptoms you experienced.
Then I have duties to attend to.
You have the blessings of the Omnisire.
One question. What do you know about Archmagos Nozic's research?
Such knowledge would only grace the peaks of Olympus Mons. I am certainly not privy to the subject of his activities. I only pray there remain records of his discoveries.
All right. But yeah, as you know, like, it's that helmet's pretty dope. Anyways, so no auto bolts. When it comes to the how Gadriel, where was I actually? Oh yeah, Leandros. Okay, so I was talking about how Leandros is not necessarily in the wrong, sort of. Like, yeah, he's kind of a dickhead for it, yes, but, you know, Leandros did what he did because that's, you know, that's what's expected of him. You know, like, that's his, you know, like, he's still fairly new to the way Titus does things and all that. You know, like, and on top of the fact that he engages with warp shit and doesn't suffer any of the side effects from it, you know, like, Titus is, you know, like, Titus is a bit of a quandary. And Leandros doesn't know how to parse that. You know, so factor his loose cannon-like behavior on top of the fact that he can engage with warp stuff and not come out seemingly unaffected by it. You know, like, it makes some sense why Leandros would be a tad concerned. Just a tad. You know, like, he shows no real sign of it really negatively affecting him, so it might be that he's actually already corrupted by it. It's just that he doesn't know it. So, and if that's the case, then, well, what the hell do I do? I guess I gotta report this to the Inquisition. Maybe they'll know. Maybe they can figure out if whether or not it's, you know, like, he's actually suffering from some type of corruption or not. But, you know, like, you get what I'm saying. You know, like, Leandros is very much like, it was very stupid for doing that. But, you know, like, it's a stupidity that's not unfounded. It's understandable. it's actually kind of relatable. Yeah, it's you know, Leandros, he just did what anyone would have expected him to do.
Commence immediate deployment.
Time to go.
Servitor, your efficiency levels are below optimal. Explain.
Damage.
Define the damage.
Spine compromised.
Have you not received pain suppressants?
And you know, I think one of the interesting things about about Titus as well, especially at the end of the game, you know, like when Leandros, you know, sold him out to the Inquisition, you know, like one of the things that Titus said as he left was like, you know, the Codex isn't something that's supposed to be a strict adherence. It's supposed to set a guiding sense of principles. It's supposed to guide you to the right answer. It's not supposed to be like your very way of being. It's not a lifestyle choice, you know? And clearly Leandros did not really get that. And Titus even calls him out on it. It's just like, you failed. Because you failed and you're kind of an idiot for doing this because, you know, like, this is, you know, like, you're not defined by the Codex. You are defined by your actions and what you accomplish and the things you do, you know, essentially. You know, like, Titus basically told him that, you know, like, your reason is shit. And you're a shit space marine, basically. But Titus is kind of an asshole for that because, you know, like, you know, again, he's not wrong, but he's also not right either. Because, again, Leandros just did what would typically be expected of him. And Titus he didn't bother addressing any of the problems that Leandros was having with his behavior, among other things. You know, like, and granted, he didn't know jack shit about what was happening to him. But he still could have broached the conversation with Leandros, just be like, you know, I don't know anything about what's going on. But, you know, I trust you, brother. I trust you. And I know you'll have my back, and that if it ends up that I am corrupted in some fashion, and I am leading us down the path of self-destruction, I expect you to do the honorable thing, the right thing, in my stead, and put an end to Nemeroth, and do all the things that I just simply can't be able to do myself. Or, you know, you could just, put a bullet in my head if it turns out I'm actually a fucking piece of shit, you know. He could say literally anything to Leandros in that moment, but instead he just, especially by the end of the game, you know, like, he said something really spiteful. And you can't blame Titus for being a little pissed off about the fact that, you know, like, oh, I just saved Graia. I just saved everyone. I defeated chaos. And this is my reward. You know, like, I get that. But it's not, it doesn't justify, you know, everything else that led up to that, you know. Like, he kind of did that to himself. And Leandros is kind of a dickhead still, yes, for calling him, you know, selling him out to the Inquisition. But, you know, he was still fairly new, and he just did what was expected of him. You know, like, again, there's a lot of problems between both parties. Just like there's burgeoning problems here with just this retinue of people for Titus. You know, like Gadriel is turning into another Leandros slowly, but he's also got a bit of Titus in him. He just doesn't show it because he's not really using it. He's not using his brain.
This is as close as I can get you. You will need to take the cargo elevator from here. Fox in when you're ready to leave.
Understood. My thanks, brother.
In fact, we don't really see Gadriel shine until later in the game. Much later.
Look at all those spores. That'll be one hell of a fight. Shame to miss it. We should be down there with the rest of the company.
We will be, soon enough.
Engines here. Elevator repairs are incomplete. Please conduct holy maintenance.
The elevator is broken.
We must find a way to restore power.
So one thing I will say about the sword, it's got two different modes of fighting. It's got fast attack mode,
Up there.
and then it's got heavy attack mode.
The main entrance is destroyed.
The heavy attack mode also serves dual action in terms of like not only does it hit hard, but it also like it's wide sweeping motion, so it also does a bit of a double duty on it being, you know, like a crowd control thing. One of the things that's kind of annoying with the sword though is that it doesn't hit hard enough. Even if you have it on the hard hitting, you know, the heavy hitting stance, it doesn't hit nearly hard enough to kill things, or at least kill them enough to down them.
Through that door.
There is one attack here that if you swipe, if you let Titus do a swing, or you let any character do a swing with a sword, you can do this combo. Well, it's not really a combo, but it's basically like another AoE attack that does a lot of damage. And all you have to do is just swing the sword once, let it sit, and then hit it again after a bit of a pause. It's not the most effective thing, and it's certainly not something that's going to be always reliable in the heat of a battle, because, you know, like, when you're getting swarmed immediately, you just want to keep swinging. You don't actually want to stop for a second and take damage to pull off that attack. I think the goal with that last attack here is that you want to use it when you see the horde coming. Like there's like this horde right here. Also, the other thing that I don't like about it is that the heavies are also the same. Even when you hold down the button, same heavy attack. When you're doing fast attacks, it's also the same heavy attack, you know? You know, there's no escaping that particular heavy. Like it actually had more harder hitting combos when it comes to the heavy attack. Or at least the hold down button anyways, as opposed to do a quote-unquote heavy attack.
Changing magazine.
Look at these mindless creatures. Dare to attack the
I will admit though, I do like the sword. I also like the concept of it. I would love to use the sword more if it just did better damage overall.
Take out those mines.
Restocking.
Loading fresh magazine.
Oh, someone called the apothecary.
Let us get to work. Resupplying.
I always love to use the melta-bombs on the operation side of things, but in the story campaign, the grenades are just they suffice. They're very useful.
The whole spire is infested. The control room may be out of action.
If the controls are out, we'll find another method.
We will meet victory, one way or another.
Watch for their lieutenants.
Come taste my steel!
And I would definitely say that if you ever get an option to either do a gun execution or a physical execution in the heat of like a when you're in the heat of a combat scenario, like you're surrounded and you're getting attacked from all sides, and then you get that choice, that option, you always take the execution. I don't know if I mentioned that before in the previous video, but you want to execute more often than you want to gun execute. You want to melee execute because it's always going to get you that execution, and not only that, but it's an invincibility execution. That animation will safeguard you until it's done.
The Tyranids will
It
make
also gives you a moment to recenter yourself and really gauge your surroundings and what you should probably be doing next. Chainsword, combat knife, auto bolter. I'll stick with a sword for now. I love the way that Titus carries the multi-melta. It's like a piece of luggage.
Xenos have the high ground. Then take it from them.
Maybe there's nothing wrong with the model or the tracking. Maybe it's just that, you know, because I'm kind of, maybe my body's tired and so my face is just more relaxed as a result of that. I don't know. It could be a multitude of things. Because, I mean, I do have better lighting in the room, and, you know, like, I haven't really changed much of anything when it comes to the tracking, so.
Bridge controls ahead, brother. This will get us to the objective. Loading ammunition.
I will switch this out for that. It's got fresh ammo, and it's also more effective against crowds. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. Multi-melta is a far better crowd killer. This is just really good at obliterating crowds and Majoruses all at the same time. It's just not effective at crowd control.
The Tyranids are staging a counterattack.
Eliminate them.
I hit the button, but I guess I did dodge.
Permanent stuff.
And they're coming. Alright.
Another one dead.
I kind of would like it if they varied up the executions every now and again, too. It'd be kind of nice. I mean, it's already pretty varied, but, you know, like, when you get the same animations, one after the other, it's kind of jarring.
My lord, we may now cross the bridge.
Proceed to the objective.
Yeah, let me test something. You know, none of those are actually doing that. What? Is it just automatically set to a specific expression? Oh, is that the problem?
Sir,
I have no idea.
you seem to be at full strength again. Did the apothecaries identify the cause of your collapse?
Focus on the mission, Sergeant.
As you wish, my lord.
Report on the repair of the lantern on the roof of the residential block of the Parliament segmentum 14K21B.
I do remember actually having that problem.
Of the burnt capacitor, sprinkling with oils and singing the canticle of benediction, the indulgence of the printed circuit board, and the sealing of purity. What's this? The machine god does not want this illumination. This is an odd response. The machine's spirit in this illuminator is troublesome. Anomaly in darkness noticed. Noted. Flagging for further probing.
You know, maybe I should look into that. I think maybe I should. Wait, what's it doing? It's not tracking my mouth movements again. Oh well. I don't know what to do about that. I never know what to do about anything with my model. It's kind of crazy. You think it would just be tracking my face, but it's not. At least not consistently. It was... God. I mean, it was doing it yesterday. It was doing just fine. I don't know what's wrong with it right now. Yeah, what's wrong with it right now? So weird. I don't understand my model sometimes. Whatever. I already said that I'm not going to bother with it.
This is it. Use the controls to restore power.
It worked. Let's get down there. Practical. There's a shortcut across the rooftops to the east.
Good. Proceed.
What motive do these creatures have to attack this facility? They have no need for the technology.
They're like seeds carried by the wind. Their only motive is to devour and expand.
So funny. Let's see. Old sniper. If I remember what this is, I think I might want that. All right, let's see. Oh wait, is it processing? Does it process better when I'm actually... No, it's not. Okay. It's gonna bug me unless I do it. Hang on. 1 second again. Okay, hopefully that'll fix it. At least to increase the mouse sensitivity, so that way at least if it does have a fucking problem again, it'll at least fix it. Be not so bad.
Incoming spores!
Cut them down.
With pleasure! Let us get to work, blessed Vulture.
Need to reload. Target destroyed.
Die, you pestilent wretch!
What is shooting me?
Ammunition secured.
Come forth and be slaughtered.
There we go. Alright, what's next?
Clear that obstruction.
Yes, sir.
Clear it. Clear that obstruction now. I kind of turned down the sensitivity for the mouth because I thought I would probably make it.
Through that opening.
It's a Guardian relic. It should be able to let you do something with those if you find bonus versions of those and you already have one. Hey, we're back to the elevator.
Boars! Care to see who can slay more Xenos for the Chiron?
You wish for me to humiliate you again, brother? Oh, I hope your photo was within your memory.
The tunneling Xenos is dead. Reload!
No scope.
Loading ammunition.
Very good.
This will serve me well.
All right.
This platform's very exposed. Expect a bumpy ride. If I'm not mistaken, you've had bad luck with cargo elevators. That was a long time ago. I prefer not to discuss it. At least you made it out alive, which is more than we can say for the orcs. It appears we have their attention.
And they have ours.
Unfortunate for them. Time to detach the platform. Cunning little Xenos.
Protect those chains.
I'm hitting the button. I am hitting the button.
They're after the chains.
They are charging the chains!
Gargoyles attacking the chains.
Chains are taking a beating.
Maybe you should also shoot at the gargoyles then? It's kind of interesting that they're called gargoyles. Why you went for that one instead of the fucking Majora's, but whatever.
They never learn. Reloading.
Tyranids bombarding the chains.
What else is new? Oh boy.
They harry the chains.
More gargoyles attempted to sabotage.
Deploying frag grenade. Changing magazine.
Oh, we got one of those, don't we? Crap, you know that's what's happening.
The Emperor protects.
Overwatch on the lift mechanisms.
That sounds like a Chiron problem.
Keep them away from the mechanisms.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of doing double duty of killing things and also killing gargoyles. So you know what? Go fuck yourself.
It will not last much longer! Focus fire!
Then do your damn job.
Tyranids bombarding the chains!
Ready to deploy special tactics. Restocking.
That was a little hairy. I almost failed that. We almost just got sent back to a checkpoint. Potentially.
Not today, Xenos scum.
You fought admirably.
Chain sword.
Facility in lockdown.
We'll need explosives. Nothing's getting through that door. Ventilation tunnels? Checking. One floor down.
Let's go.
I don't think there's anything up there. Except... well, that.
Stabilizing vitals.
Retro bolt rifle.
was a word written in blood on Nozik's Thunderhawk.
Oh, really?
Do not speak it, brother. The words of the archenemy hold dangerous power.
One should not dismiss any data that may be relevant.
Have you ever faced the archenemy, Sergeant?
Regrettably, I have not.
Then I suggest you listen to your brother.
Yeah, Chiron would know what's up, especially with with the heretics.
If the archenemy is involved,
Chaos
might we not
Legions.
encounter them here?
I hope we do. I wish to have words with those traitors.
My blood rages at the thought of them.
They'll be counting on your hatred. Be sure they don't use it against you. Down here!
The Adeptus Mechanicus put up a fight here.
Those vile creatures taint every crevice.
How far to the cogitator?
With no direct route. It'll take longer than I'd like.
Why don't they attack?
They're plotting something.
What plotting could these insects be capable of?
These are mere drones.
Then what guides them?
A worthy adversary.
Tech corridor hive segmentum 19E21D / senior tech priest 101010-S. Cycle overflow. Uplink self to network neural verification code 101010-S-81. Attention. Xenos element. Tyranid classification. Claw damage recorded.
More tyranid filth.
Floor extremities. Code 2.
Staining worlds with their very
Uplink
presence.
unsuccessful. Repeat attempt. Neural verification code 101001.
See, there is a special weapon version of the Pyroblaster. So why the hell did I have to use the Pyroblaster in place of my primary, huh?
I'll try resetting the circuit.
In fact, this is the same one, isn't it? It doesn't look that different from the other one I used. What's so different about this one versus the ones I was using in the other level?
They will not get past
Kind
this.
of annoying.
What happened? Power's down.
Stupidity
Must be
happened.
the reset.
Listen.
They're in the walls.
Ready your bolters.
They're in your ears and up your nose.
They're coming. Watch your back.
Must be used later anyways.
There's a lictor. Very good.
Oh wow, you already downed it? God. That's crazy.
Lictor neutralized.
Loading fresh magazine.
Power's back. Proceed through the door. Down here.
Oh, never mind.
Let us get to work.
I thought that was gonna be a two-handed one. No, it's not a multi-melta.
Here, brothers.
Okay.
Almost there. Through the main hub, then we're at the databanks.
Expect heavy resistance.
They wish to interfere with our objective.
Our objective is of no concern to them. Their only wish is to kill us.
I didn't see that. No ammo needed. Here's where the fun begins. Huh. Yeah.
Carnifex! What's so practical?
Do not get caught when it charges at you.
Come and meet your end, vile beast!
Damn. Looks like getting stuck on geometry, just like everything else.
Reload!
Thanks for that.
Munitions secured.
Dodge, damn it. There we go. Ow.
Stay with me, brother. I am down.
Time to get up.
Well, now they're gonna get ran over like that. God, they don't even execute them.
Need to reload. Clearing the way.
Carnifex fight. I wish I was a bit more awake for this.
Xenos Hog.
But it's fun nonetheless.
I thought a beast of that stature would offer more sport.
It was outnumbered.
And I'll ask for
Other ones
too much
faced the
now.
Carnifex alone, with nothing but a bolt pistol. That was sport.
Well, I am glad to share in the glory of this kill.
Well, good.
This facility is in shambles. Let us hope the data center is intact.
What else
Can
is
we
new?
access Luz's tracking data from another system?
Apparently not. It's this or nothing.
This sort of thing. Ah, this spot. I was at this spot right here when I started helping my friend through the campaign.
What manner of research could justify such a waste of human life? It does not surprise me. The Adeptus Mechanicus so willingly make monsters of themselves.
The Adeptus Mechanicus is such an interesting faction.
Another one dead.
So, I'm expecting that there's a... There isn't. Surprising. I was expecting that there would be one of those, flying suckers. But I don't see them. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot Majorus can do that too. They just don't do it very often because they're more interested in killing you than they are actually buffing their ads.
Resupplying.
Door function inoperable. Adjust pathing.
Adjust pathing.
Xenos, they have us boxed in.
A mistake they will soon regret.
I think their entire existence is a regret. And I wonder.
Target destroyed.
Eh,
Access restored. Corridor cleared for transit.
maybe better to have your own will and not, I guess. Ah, no.
Restocking.
This way is progress. Oh, yeah, that figures.
This is great. The core of the reactor. There is so much beauty in its instability. These machines only keep the world from enjoying their beauty.
Captain, permission to speak.
What plagues your mind, Corporal?
Captain, intelligence reports that the Tyranids are on their way.
Roll up units in key corridors. Let's get them closer.
But
do it, Corporal. Do not question my authority. Their authority.
Yeah, my legs. Sitting crisscross all the time doesn't help it. It's not helping my legs one bit. Ay. Then I go to work, and then I hurt them all over again by kneeling on them.
Sign of the arch enemy. Maybe they've been and gone. Maybe they're not involved after all. Stick to what you know, brother. I'm merely observing the data, as I am taught to do by the Codex Astartes. A Volkite reactor, still running. Let's hope the machine spirit has it under control. A meltdown would be catastrophic.
We'll disable it once we have the data.
From the looks of it, these guys aren't even a century old. Otherwise, they would have the markings like Titus does. Because apparently, from what I understand, the studs in the brain, well, not in the brain, but the studs that you see on the head, on Titus's head, they're markings that implicate the years of service he's had, the centuries, a little specifically. It was 2 centuries, if I remember correctly, since Graia. He only had 2 studs back then.
I awaken.
Lieutenant Titus, Ultramarines, 2nd Company.
Enter your command.
Locate Marius
He
Luz.
spent a century in the Death Watch. What was he doing before that?
Access rights granted. Establishing locus. Abarax. The city. Temple of Thasian.
Vitals are elevated.
I'll box for a Thunderhawk.
Wait.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember hearing somewhere that in a lore dive for Titus's backstory that apparently when he got taken by the Inquisition, he got taken directly to the not the chapter master, but the chaplain of his legion, the chaplain master, I think. I don't know. Point being is that the Inquisitor in the like in charge of the Ultramarines is chaplains and inquisitors there, or I don't know what head that is. Anyways, so when he got arrested, he was essentially incubated for a long period of time because the person in charge at that time was running experiments on human beings and Astartes alike, and so it's safe to say that for a good duration of time, Titus was essentially being kept as a lab rat. That actually adds even more context to why why Titus is a bit standoffish. It's actually kind of funny. But yeah, Titus has got an interesting story. Ay. All right. Sorry about that little tangent. My legs are also feeling it again. That actually was a good distraction for my legs. All right. In case you're wondering how I'm recording this, I'm playing this game. I got 2 laptops going right now. One for recording, one for playing games. And the current setup that I have, I'm on the edge of my bed playing this game and simultaneously recording this video. And the camera and everything is behind my laptop, facing my direction, of course. And it's on like the bed frame. It's quite the setup, let me tell you. If you wanted to know what my pain is like, doing this kind of content, like I could probably send a picture of it and post it online at some point. I mean, actually, you know what? If I ever, move out and get a desk and everything, like that'd probably be an interesting little bit of memorabilia. Just like, oh yeah, I'll take a picture of my old setup in my room prior to me moving out. That's gonna be an interesting thing. Yeah. I don't know. Ugh. Okay.
Open file Project Aurora.
Register intention of requisition.
Open the file.
Oh boy. The deep lore for Project Aurora. Reconstruction. Graya. Drogan.
Open file reconstruction.
Brother, those are classified.
No. It was destroyed. Mechanicus fools. Display current location of artifact.
Warning. Volkite reactor unstable. Meltdown imminent.
Oh no.
This whole place will collapse onto the city beneath us.
Get them off the core.
They are throwing themselves into the reactor.
We must shut it down before they destabilize it further.
Machine Spirit, power down the reactor.
Non-compliance. Remote circuits are fused. Manual override required.
Explain.
Emergency disengagement mechanisms are located on the reactor platform.
Clear a path to those controls. Vermin exterminate. Munitions secured.
Jettisoning Volkite pylon. Stand by.
Alright.
Here they come. Keep them off that reactor.
Oh. I made that mistake.
Emperor, damn them! Get them off the reactor! More tyrannies incoming, brothers! Let us show them some of ultimate hospitality!
Alright, I need to activate that. Fire your gun, Titus. I am asking you to fire your gun. Alright. Still not done? Okay, now they're done.
Reactor remains unstable. Disengage additional pylons.
Move to the next console. Make haste.
jettisoning Volkite pylon. Stand by.
How many pylons remain engaged?
One Volkite pylon maintains the reactor.
Disengage it.
Unable to comply. Temperatures have fused remote circuits. Manual intervention required.
Drone, damn it! They are making another push. Intercept. Let them feel the wrath of the Ultramarine!
Okay.
Reload! The beast craves death, brothers. We shall oblige!
Alright, I want to get some ammo.
Reloading!
The core can't take much more of this.
So and from. We must break its shield. Changing magazine. Better.
Oh my god, leave me alone. I swear.
By the Primarch, if they hit the reactor again, it's over!
I'm trying. Trying to kill the fucking...
Special tactics. For the Primarch!
Yes. Get it. God. Why is none of my inputs working out that well? I swear.
Resupplying.
Reactor approaching critical failure. Meltdown imminent. Disengage remaining pylon to complete shutdown sequence.
Oh, really?
Activate those controls, now!
Ugh.
Volkite pylon jettisoned. Reaction has entered entropic decay.
That was the last of them.
Backup generators have been awakened. Non-essential systems returning to hibernation.
No sign of Tyranids.
The smell of burnt ichor is enough.
We have what we came for. Move to the extraction zone.
Alright. This is definitely not going to be one of my best videos, but whatever. I mean, I got around to talking about the things that I wanted to talk about on this video, so, you know, at least there's that. But, ugh. All the technical difficulties, among other things, and the fact that I can talk and it's the middle of the night, you know, these are all things that kind of handicapped it.
What did you see in those Mechanicus files?
A record of extreme foolishness.
Explain.
You may direct that request to our captain.
Give me a tactical overlay of the city.
Captain!
A minute.
The Adeptus Mechanicus must be stopped.
What?
If they trigger the weapon, the results could be catastrophic.
Oh, really?
And what makes you suddenly an expert on Mechanicus research?
They're using an artifact to power the weapon. I've seen it before, on a planet named Graia. A traitor by the name of Nemroth called it a fragment of the Dark God's power. It almost destroyed the planet.
Graia. Titus, the Mechanicus are acting on orders approved by the Primarch. And here are you, talking of Graia, of all places.
Damn it, Captain. If Chaos is here, if they get their hands on this thing...
Enough! I will hear no more on the subject. Now, did you get a location for Luz?
Aye, sir.
Then get down there and find him! There are those who would see you sent back to the Inquisition. Tread carefully, brother.
That actually raises an interesting question. Who are these people? Because Chiron and Gadriel still have yet to really develop an actual problem with Titus. So who's the people who are over here saying that it would be nice if Titus could go back to the Inquisition? We have yet to run into anyone who, outside of Gadriel and Chiron, you know, they actually are just like, you know, they call him a Black Shield. Well, no, they wouldn't know he's a Black Shield. But they wouldn't just, you know, there's no one who's said anything along the lines of, fuck Titus.
Brother, do not keep us in the dark.
It is not your concern.
You criticize the captain for withholding intelligence, and yet you treat us to the same evasive obscurity.
Stray words have cost me dearly.
So you do not trust us?
Brothers, calm yourselves, lest you face the chaplain's censure.
Alright, so we're already coming on the 3-hour mark. I don't think I'll do another mission, but at the very least...
Look!
I hope they survived.
But yeah, it's we have yet to really run into anyone who literally are just like, you know, fuck Titus, man. That guy's an asshole. Oh yeah, I knew him before the shit with Deathwatch and him being reinstated. He's kind of a dickhead, you know.
Replacement systems unsatisfactory. Of replacement exceeds that of repair.
But you know, it's something that, you know, we'll have to be addressed at some point. Because, you know, when you play the game long enough and you play the game consistently, you know, like, you'll notice that there are a few things that are understandably lacking. And, you know, I have been critical of the game and simultaneously a defender of the game.
Did you see that emergency
so far?
landing earlier? Never have
You
I
know,
seen
like, there's no one who wants to both love and hate this game more than myself. Well, maybe that's not true, but you get my point. You know, like, this game has its faults, but it also has a lot of things that are just not, there's aspects to it that I think people are taking are being a little too critical about.
You seem troubled.
Being a bit too zealous.
Reckless fools.
I hope you do not mean us.
Not unless you worship the Omniscient.
Ah, then I share your distaste.
The little wretches have been found crawling through water pipes, sewage, ventilation.
Yeah. I think that this game is great. I think that the narrative is great. I think that the story is amazing. It achieves what it sets out to do. Because again, at the end of the day, this is an action game about brotherhood, and it's very much like a Gear story. It's very much like a Gear story with a Warhammer coat of paint, but it's where it differs from other titles like Gears and most other titles. If I can talk, from most other games is simply by the fact that the focus on brotherhood is very important. It's very important because actually Gears had some brotherhood elements into it as well. But I think that with Warhammer in particular, what separates Warhammer from Gears is that Warhammer has very much a lot more of a lore and depth. It has more variety in enemy types, and also the Chaos faction serves its own type of issues when it comes to it's just a bit more unique than the Locusts from Gears, in the sense that the Locusts don't really talk. They're just kind of drones who just kill things. In fact, the Tyranids are basically Locusts, aren't they? Yeah, the Gears comparison actually is it's kind of funny, actually. The story, though, is nothing like Gears, though. With Gears of War, it was very much like you and me against the world type of thing. The Brotherhood was there, but it was more so like a action testosterone cover shooter type of thing, whereas this is more of an action game. It's more of an action shooter, it's a hack and slash type of game. Space Marines 2 and Space Marines 1 were very much about we're going to have a lot of shooter elements combined with a lot of hacking, very much just hacking things to pieces type of thing. It combines both worlds into one nice homogeneous whole, and it's just fun. When it comes to this game's narrative, though, a lot of people are very mixed on it, but I'm of the opinion that the narrative does a lot of things right, but granted, it does leave a lot to be desired. Again, Gadriel is a woefully, neglected character. He needs depth. He needs a lot more depth. Even just a bit of depth, like Chiron has, would be nice. And Titus has been a character who's been consistently lacking in depth. I mean, ever since the first game, he was very much just I wouldn't say he's a self-insert, but he's basically the vehicle for which that you are supposed to project yourself onto. He's basically just the proto-masculine type of character who does the killing, the destroying, and also just gets things done. Your standard protagonisty things. But it's that's still doing him a disservice because he does have some depth. He's a character who does have depth in the form of all of the events from Graya leading up to this game. As his character gets more and more reintroduced, and the more they include him in different stories, the more he gets fleshed out as a character, and so the more depth he gets just by the very nature that he's just a you know, like he's just a pre-existing character. You know, he's a character who constantly gets more screen time. Anyways, but yeah, it's just I would like to see more story fixes for things like Gadriel specifically, and also I would like to see more like added bonding moments between Titus and Titus and Co. Because there's clearly, the one of the defining moments, one of the best narrative moments in this game is kind of underpinned by the fact that it feels kind of forced. It feels kind of forced because there's not a whole lot of development leading up to that. The only development that there is subtle. And even the subtle development isn't good enough to really make that moment feel, like it truly hits home. I mean, we feel it when it happens, but it's like, it doesn't feel nearly as good if it was actually set up really well for that to actually mean something. Because stories, like when they get to their best scenes, and you set it up well enough for when that scene shows up, and it hits, it really means something. But yeah. So Space Marines 2 has been a blast. It's been a consistent blast. I spent 80 hours on this fucking game so far. I don't know what else to say other than if I could give this game a glowing recommendation, a seal of approval, it gets my seal of approval. I've played so many games. I have an extensive library of games that I have played. I have played all kinds of games, and this is a game that I haven't felt this good playing in a long ass time, let me tell you. Like if you're someone who is actively looking for the next the next best thing to play, just until something new and interesting arrives, or just something good, or it's just something that you're excited about, I would pick this game up. I would pick this game up in a heartbeat. You want a game that makes you feel good, that doesn't make you really try your hardest, like Wukong or any of the other big AAA releases that have just kind of came and went, that are a bit of a downer, a bit of a wet fart in terms of both gameplay and quality. But if you need a game that has the best of both worlds, just severely lacking in content in some places, yeah, this is the game. If you just want the experience of just feeling good and getting that dopamine hit for a little bit, just for a short time, then yeah, this is the game I would pick up. I mean, the $60 price point if you live in the States is a bit much, but it's totally worth it, in my opinion. It's totally worth it just for the sheer fact that this game is it is doing the most when it comes to selling you on a, just on a nice, on a nice, simple story about brotherhood and about, defying the odds and overcoming, truly absurd circumstances and things. It's not like you're playing Devil May Cry or anything, but it's levels of just mind-boggling, ridiculous set pieces. But it does escalate things well enough, and it does hit you with some pretty epic moments. And so I would definitely like to end the video on that. It is a great game. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. I would buy this game for a couple of my friends just so I can run it with them. But I'm kind of lacking on money right now. I kind of spend most of my money just getting this fucking setup for recording and everything, as well as the model. It's been a trial. But yeah. So, Space Marines 2, please give it a go. I would love to see this game get some much needed love, because games like this need love, man. They need it. They need it so fucking badly. Saber needs it. Yeah, you know, I need it. I need more games like it. We could all go for more games like it. And who knows, maybe down the road they will add the Battle Sisters, and then the fucking, you know, then women can get into it if women really need female representation on screen just to enjoy something. I don't know. I know some people like it. I know some people genuinely feel really fucking good about, like, oh, I feel represented. I feel like I have someone who's clearly of my particular type of identity, and I feel represented because they're on screen doing just as cool of things as, like, the other characters do. And it's like, well, I mean, it's I'm not gonna knock you for it, but I am gonna say that, you know, I can appreciate stories where I'm not I'm not the focal point. I'm not I'm not the specific demographic on screen engaging in the narrative. You know, like, I can appreciate things that aren't about myself. But that's also probably, you know, then of course the argument will be like, oh, well, that's because, you know, like, you have a lot of media that already caters to you. So you don't really feel that struggle like we do. And it's like, I guess. I mean, I don't really feel that personally. That would be my reason. I mean, like, again, I'm more of a logical person, you know, like, when I look at something and I'm critical about something, it's because of very specific reasons. Not because of, like, I rarely do I ever drag feeling or emotion into a thing or a particular a background for it, unless it's like unless it's something that's pervasive and it's something that I experience quite often. And while certainly, you know, like, the argument is there for, like, oh, well, you know, it's not often you see, like, a minority in a leading role or something like that, but it's like, I mean, you can still appreciate a good story, right? Even if your demographic is not at the center of that story. I mean, like, I think we can all appreciate a really good fucking story. Even if it's, like, from a position of, like, I'm not the demographic who is leading the charge on it, or is even, like, you know, like, is even, like, the center point of it, you know? I don't know. I think you get my point. But yeah, so Space Marines 2, please buy it, please pick it up at your earliest convenience. You know, like, if you really, you know, like, if I could, God, I don't think I can chill the game any harder. I'm terrible at chilling things. I'm also just terrible at explaining myself. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm kind of tired, and it's already past the 3-hour mark, so I guess this is a good point to just end it on. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Hopefully I'll be a bit more cognizant and, you know, awake for the next one. Bye-bye.